Hey guys, it's Tealus here. I'm back underneath Dalaran, inside the Dalaran sewers. This is the class order hall for rogues, and I'm ready to bring you another specialization for rogues in World of Warcraft Legion. This time I will be looking at Subtlety rogues. Now, as I mentioned in my first video that I even did on this specialization class overview series with Outlaw rogues, is that all rogues, very much like all hunters, have just been completely changed. And they've been, well, I shouldn't say completely changed, but they've been incredibly diversified. And so many of the different specializations have lost many different abilities, and they've gained a multitude of new abilities to really differentiate each of the different rogue specs to make them all unique. Now, for subtlety rogues, I should say that subtlety rogues are probably the second most changed of the rogue specs, outlaw easily being the most changed. Subtlety is not far behind though, and that'll give you an idea of how much has changed. Now, I'll be doing the majority of this video in this kind of water sewer area here because rogues like to test their abilities a lot, and so the training area is actually very loud. So I'm going to try and stay here for the majority of it. I believe in that first video it was very loud, so I did turn down the volume. If you've only paid attention to rogue videos, I've turned down the volume so that now you can actually hear my voice a lot better and a lot less of the random fan of knives that those two fighting in the center of that room are just spraying off whenever. So, with that being said, this is a two-part video series looking at subtlety rogues. The first video, which is this one, we'll be looking at abilities for sub-rogues, and we'll be looking at the artifact weapon for sub-rogues. In the second video, I will look at the PvE talents that are available to subtlety rogues, and then the PvP talents that are available to them. Now, a little disclaimer before we get any further and we jump right into the abilities section. Rogue is the one class in World of Warcraft that I'm least experienced. I have the least amount of experience with. I think the highest rogue that I've gotten is 58. I've actually invested, to be honest, I've invested more time into rogue killing classes than I have into classes, into anything resembling a rogue. So I'm not the biggest fan of rogues, but everyone needs a fair shakedown, and trust me when I say if I were a rogue, I'd be really happy with the changes that are coming to the class as a whole, because each one of the specializations is really getting kind of a unique flavor, and it's becoming, I think, more fun across the board. So, with that being said, I'm going to go into the removed, changed, and new abilities. I do want to say I'm doing it in this order so that you guys can see what you've lost, and then from there you can see what is coming your way to change kind of your playstyle and how things will be different. And I'm going to attempt to try and kind of give some feedback on how I guess a sub-rogue will play in World of Warcraft Legion. So with that being said, first removed is poisons. Discussed this in the first video. It's assassins only now. So poisons have been completely removed as a rogue, so you no longer have to worry about them if you're sub or if you're outlaw. It's just an assassination only ability. Gouge has been removed. I believe that that is outlaw only. I'm going to double check right here, look up assassination. And yes, I do not see it. So Gouge is now an outlaw only ability. It has been removed. Recuperate has been removed across the board. Slice and Dice is now a talent only for outlaw rogues, otherwise it's been removed completely. Crimson Tempest has been removed. Smoke Bomb has been removed. Ambush, which is kind of surprising, has been removed. It is now outlaw only. Premeditation has been moved to a talent, so it's no longer baseline for sub-rogues. Rupture has been removed. It is now assassination only. I already went over Slice and Dice. For some reason I have it listed twice on my list. Sanguinary Vein has been removed. I believe that might have been a passive ability. I'm not quite sure. It might not have been. We're getting into the abilities in my when looking up on my live rogue that I haven't even accumulated yet, because my live rogue is only at level 58. Fan of Knives has been removed. It is assassination only. Don't worry, you have a great replacement with a great spell visual. Preparation has been removed. Shiv has been removed, or Shiv, however you pronounce it. And then Shroud of Concealment has been removed. That's kind of a big bummer because Shroud of Concealment was well, it's a lot of fun to use, especially in a Mass World PvP setting. I know PvEers didn't really get much use for it, but it was fun in Mass World PvP, and that has been removed from sub-rogues. So, with that being said, we have changes to first backstab, okay, which I believe now is going to be your main kind of your main ability that you'll use to build up your combo points as a rogue. I'm going to come in here and show you what the new sound effect sounds like. So I'm going to come in here and use it a few times. They did a really good job on changing the sound effects of rogues. Now, as you notice, I mentioned in the very first video that I ever did that they changed the UI, so you can see in the middle right below my character, you can see my health bar, my energy, and my combo points. They all show up on there, and it's really nice to have. So, with that being said, backstab has changed. It can now attack from all sides, okay? So you can attack them from the front if you want. I believe in Warlords of Draenor they tried to make a nice little change so that, you know, kind of a quality of life change so that you didn't necessarily have to be like directly behind the target. You could be at their sides or whatever, and backstab would still work. Now they're saying you can attack from all sides, so that's definitely a you know, a quality of life change to make things better. However, they're still adding a skill component to make sure that if you really want to be good at sub-rogue, you still have to do the facing requirement, which is 30% increased damage if attacking from the back. So that is how backstab will work. Now you can attack from any side. You can backstab them in the face, if that makes sense. And then, but you get 30% more damage if you are behind your target. Blind has not changed much. I just want to show you it's got a new, I believe a new sound effect. Some of these are not necessarily new spell visuals, but instead new sound effects. So I use it right there. And hopefully you can hear it with all the fan of knives and firing going on. Pick Lock has had its cast time reduced to 1.5 seconds from 5 seconds. Let me pull that up just to make sure I'm correct on that one. I know because it's really an important it's an important ability for rogues to make sure that they have the correct numbers on. So it's now a 1.5 second cast as opposed to a 5-second cast on Pick Lock. Shadow Dance has been changed immensely. So let me go through this. I have 5 bullet points on here on how this changes. So Shadow Dance now lasts 3 seconds, down from 8. Okay? Bullet point 1. Bullet point 2. Shadow Dance now has 3 charges. If you look in the middle of my top action bar, you can see Shadow Dance there in the middle. Its icon is still the same, and I can use it, but it has 3 charges on it, all lasting 3 seconds. Shadow Dance now increases damage by 50%. Shadow Dance also now increases movement speed by 20%. So increases damage by 50%. I'm not sure if I messed that up just a second ago. Increases damage, so to clarify, increases damage by 50%, increases movement speed by 20%. And then it no longer reduces the ambush energy cost because ambush is gone. So, I'll go ahead and use it here. You can see right here, just a spell visual around yourself, and that's how it works, okay? Pretty nice ability, and I'm going to guess, this is the first time I've seen this Shadow Dance healed you for a certain amount of physical. I'm going to take a guess that's going to be in our artifact weapon. We'll get to that later. So those are the major 5 bullet points of Shadow Dance and how it's changed. It now lasts 3 seconds, down from 8. Its damage is increased by 50. Its movement speed is increased by 20. It no longer reduces damage of ambush, and it now has 3 charges. Moving on, we have Relentless Strikes. It will now restore 40 energy up from 25. If you've forgotten what Relentless Strikes is, if we go down here, it is a passive. Your finishing moves have a 20% chance per combo point to generate 40 energy. So that's a lot. Instead of just 25, now it's 40. I think that's a big buff for that ability. Lastly, Mastery Executioner, very simple. It no longer increases Slice and Dice. You don't have Slice and Dice anymore. So basically it's just cutting that out of the Mastery. So with that, there are several abilities that you need to hear new sound effects for, or new, I guess you could say, either sound effects or visual effects. I kind of want to go through them because you're going to be kind of confused when you start hearing all these new sound effects and visual effects, And you know, like for instance, for rogues, the crack is gone from cheap shot, and that's something that you're gonna notice. So we'll go ahead and start with that. I'll go up in here and I'll use cheap shot, and you'll see right there, the crack is gone. It's got a new sound effect on that. So there's cheap shot. We now have, I believe, a new spell visual for feint. We'll go ahead and use this now. New spell visual and visual effect. We have sprint. Sprint has also changed. There you go. Then we also have evasion. If I can find evasion on here so we can see the next one. Right here. There's the new spell visual on evasion. We also have differences in eviscerate. So let's go ahead and come up here and use a different sound effect on visual eviscerate. Eviscerate, jeez, I can't get anything right. So go ahead and use eviscerate again. As you can see there, new sound effects. I really like the new sound effects that they put into the game now. Really sounds more authentic towards classes as opposed to what it was before. And then lastly, we have a changing kidney shot. Once again, we'll come up here and use it. Right there, crack is gone. It's different. You can still see the stun though that is there. So that encompasses all of the changes for a rogue, a sub-rogue in World of Warcraft Legion. A lot of changes there. So with that, let's go ahead and look into the new abilities, and there's a lot. Just looking at the list real quick, it looks like there's about 9 to 10 new abilities for a subtlety rogue in Legion. So this is going to be fun. So starting at the top, first is Crimson Vial. This is to all rogues. And it's just a straight heal. Drink alchemical concoction that heals you for 30% of your maximum health over 6 seconds. This kind of replaces recuperate. You used to have recuperate, and this is your replacement, sort of. So 30 energy, 30-second cooldown. Use it right there. Drink a bottle. I'm feeling good. Okay? Next, we have Nightblade. So let me pull up Nightblade here. Finishing move, it costs 25 energy, and it's a finishing move that infects the target with shadow energy, dealing shadow damage over time and causing attacks against the target to reduce movement speed by 70% for 8 seconds. Lasts longer per combo point. That's brutal. A 70% reduction. This is going to be definitely an ability that is going to be used in PvP. Going to be very annoying. So let's go ahead and use Nightblade. So you can see right there what it looks like. And then I have that the damage on there and the snare. Night Terrors is the snare, and then just Nightblade for the damage that is continuing from the damage portion of it. So definitely a wonderful ability to have. Remember, dealing shadow damage over time and causing attacks against the target to reduce movement speed. So it's not like Nightblade itself reduces the movement speed. It means that while this is on the target, you know, for 8 seconds, you will be able to continually, each attack you make against the target will have a 70% reduction in movement speed. Honestly, that sounds brutally overpowered and makes sub-rogues incredibly difficult to deal with. I don't know how popular, I mean, not how popular, it's going to be very popular. How often, if that's going to make it onto live, basically. That's what I'm questioning here, because that is, in my opinion, very strong. So, with that, we have more new abilities. Let's take a look at Shadow Blades. Draws upon draws upon surrounding shadows to empower your weapons, causing auto attacks to deal shadow damage, and abilities to generate combo points. Abilities that generate combo points to generate 1 additional combo point. Lasts 25 seconds. This lasts for a long time. I'm going to go ahead and use it right here. You'll see a spell visual there. I use backstab, and I get 2 per use Nightblade. It's a nice ability to have. So that's a nice cooldown buff. And if you haven't noticed, the theme here is starting to be that, you know, you've lost poisons, but you're dealing a lot of shadow damage as a sub-rogue. Whereas with a outlaw rogue, it's pretty much just blunt damage with a little bit more range with some of your, like, pistols as you're whipping out of nowhere. Shadow Blades and all the shadow damage that's coming out of it, Nightblade, you're starting to get more shadow damage out of a subtlety rogue. The next ability to look at is going to be Shadow Step. This is pretty self-explanatory. It's the same as it is on, it's the same as it was in the talent tree. It is now baseline for sub-rogues. Other classes do not have this. I know Outlaw does not have it. Assassination might have it. Assassination does have it. So Outlaw Rogue is the one that's kind of left out of the of having Shadow Step. So Shadow Step is back and it's now baseline. You no longer have to talent into it. Another ability that you no longer have to talent into is going to be Shuriken Toss. As you can see down here, you 40 energy, throw a Shuriken at the entity, rewards 1 combo point, and you can see the nice spell visual now. You got little 3 Shurikens that you throw. You're kind of like Hanzo, but with Shadow Shurikens. Not Hanzo, Genji, excuse me. If you play Overwatch at all, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So with that, we also have a new ability called Shadow Strike. This is a new stealth ability, so let's go ahead and go into stealth. Strike through the shadows appearing behind your target and dealing 153,000 physical damage. You know the best part about this? Is the 25-yard range on this. Okay? So you have Shadow Step now and this new Shadow Strike. So no longer are you blowing Shadow Step to get behind your target. You're using Shadow Strike to get behind your target. Now, there may be some cases in which you want to actually deal some burst damage, in which you actually want to open up with a kidney shot, and so you'll use sprint or whatever speed, movement, increasing effects to get behind your target, or maybe you'll just use Shadow Step to get behind your target. And then you can use that to get the stun off, and then if the target gets away, that's when you can use Shadow Dance and then Shadow Strike to get back onto the target. So there's a lot of opportunities there for a Subtlety Rogue to get back on the target now that they did not necessarily have from before. So I really do like this. If I'm a Shadow Rogue, I am personally impressed with how things are kind of looking for Shadow in this Subtlety in this expansion. I keep wanting to say Shadow, but there are so many abilities now that you have that are just Shadow, 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 and you know it kind of makes sense because you're a Subtlety Rogue. So, with that being said, we have Shuriken Storm. This is the replacement for losing Fan of Knives. And I love the spell visual. Everything's better. So you have another ability to spam and annoy people across the world with. 35 energy, sprays shurikens at all targets within 10 yards, dealing 5,900 physical damage, awards 1 combo point per target hit. So as you can see right there, it's really nice. Really nice purple spell visual. You can see the little shurikens flying out all over the place. This guy over here on the right, Lord Tony Romano. I just realized his name is Lord Tony Romano. That's kind of funny. So Lord Tony Romano is spamming up Fan of Knives. You can see Shuriken Storm is a whole lot better than that. At least in my opinion, I think it looks a lot nicer. So with that being said, we still have 3 new abilities to look through. The first is going to be Symbols of Death. It requires a stealth. It costs 35 energy and a 10-second cooldown. You invoke Ancient Symbols of Power, increasing all damage you deal by 20% for 35 seconds, and causing your next Shadow Strike to critically strike, unaffected by the global cooldown. Just listening to these abilities sounds broken. But, you know, we'll have to see how the training is in PvP. So I'll go ahead and use this. I had 35 seconds to do some serious damage. I'll use it right here. You can see the spell visual. And then I get that crit off of the Shadow Strike there. And then I'm able to go into the backstabs before using either Eviscerate or Nightblade or Kidney Shot or whatever I need to slow them down. So that's pretty awesome to have in your kit. So that is the last of active abilities available to a sub-rogue in World of Warcraft Legion. Let's take a look at their passives that they had that's new. First is Deepening Shadows. Your finishing moves have a 5% chance per combo point to grant an additional charge of Shadow Dance. So your Shadow Dance is sitting here at a minute recharge. So, you know, you can burn all 3, but you have to wait a minute per recharge for all 3 of those to come back. However, you do have a 5% chance per combo point to grant an additional charge of Shadow Dance. So each time I use I mean, if I'm to burn all three of them just all at once, and then let's see if we can get actually have a 25% chance this time to get a charge back. And each time I try this, I'll have a 35% chance to get it back. And I still haven't gotten one, but each time you get full 5 stacks on your combo points, you have a chance to get one of those charges back. There we go. I just got one charge back for Shadow Dance. That's going to be really potent, and it's a very nice passive to have. Lastly, we have Shadow Techniques. This is the last passive that you are getting. Your auto attacks have a chance to generate a combo point. So, very simple passive there. More combo point generation. Nothing really that you should complain about there. So, that is everything for the abilities for a Subtlety Rogue. Really, everything that they've done before has really changed. The only thing that is familiar is going to be Backstab. Otherwise, they have new and improved ways to really get around the enemy and cause havoc and deal a lot of damage. And in a lot of cases, you're not going to be just dealing melee damage now. You're going to be dealing a lot of shadow damage. So that's something that's going to be really impressive. And I honestly wonder if several of these abilities are actually going to make it to live. They sound broken. It's hard to test in PvP how strong it is because tanks are so mind-bottlingly broken right now. I mean, if you want to win in a BG, you just run in as a tank. So until that has been brought down to earth, we'll never really know just how powerful and potent this is going to be. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at the artifact weapons that are available to a sub-rogue in World of Warcraft Legion. We have Fangs of the Devourer. One is called Gorefang, and the other one is called Akari's Will. They are two daggers that you have, which are pretty nice. Once again, you start off with Gormaul's Bite, so this is the ability you first get, and then you have to build your way through the tree. So we'll go ahead and show this off first. It is the only ability you should get in any of these trees. The others, they have Epic Portraits, which are kind of enhancements for your abilities, but the only one that actually really awards an ability is going to be your first one. So this one is melee range, 1 minute cooldown, lashes out at the target, inflicting 90,000 shadow damage, once again more shadow damage, reducing movement speed by 60% for 8 seconds, grants 30 energy over 6 seconds, awards 3 combo points. So once again, you have even more movement reduction in addition to the Night Blades. I mean, you have a lot of movement reduction as a Shadow Rogue, and then a lot of ways to get back to the target if you need to, via Shadow Dance and your Shadow Strike spell. So it's pretty impressive. So let's go ahead and use this ability so you can see what it looks like. I'll use it right here. As you can see there, I just kind of thrust forward with both daggers. It's pretty nice. So let's go ahead and go through this entire talent tree. I will go from, it looks like, let's go from right to left. So first we have Shadow Fangs, increases the physical and shadow damage by 5%. We have Fortune's Bite. Shadow Techniques has a 15% chance to generate 2 combo points. So if you remember, Shadow Techniques is one of those brand new passives. So instead of generating 1 combo point, it can generate 2 combo points. We have Akari's Soul. After using Cheap Shot or Shadow Strike, Akari's Soul appears 4 seconds later, and the soul rips the target, dealing 128,000 shadow damage and 0 shadow damage over until cancelled. I'm not quite sure about the tooltip there. Let's see if we can get this to work. It needs Shadow Strike or Cheap Shot, so we'll go ahead and stealth here, see if we can get it to work. You can kind of see it there. I think it comes off to the side there. The big perp, there it is, right there. That is what it's talking about, is that right there. So we'll go ahead and use it again, just so you guys can see. I'll zoom in so those blasted, I don't even know what they are, it's like a tarp in the sky, it doesn't get in the way. Let me get back, I could just use Shadow Dance. So there's the attack, and then pretty soon here, he should show up. There it is, right there. Appearing right at the target, and it will deal damage. So pretty nice to have. Here we have Gut Ripper, increases the critical strike chance of Eviscerate by 15%. We already did Fortune's Bite. We have Embrace of Darkness. When you enter stealth, you gain a shield which absorbs damage equal to your attack power. So that's pretty nice to have. I don't know if that's displayed anywhere. Yes, it is. Embrace of Darkness absorbs 20,000 damage right there. We have the Quiet Knife, increases damage dealt by backstab by 10%. We have Soul Shadows, increases the duration of Shadow Blades by 10 seconds. So Shadow Blades baseline is only going to be 15 seconds, but this broken ability brings it up to even 25 seconds. So you're going to have that extra damage and combo points generating, extra combo point generation just out of that. The very top here, we have Shadow Nova. When you exit stealth, you explode dealing 27,000 shadow damage to all nearby enemies. This has been on display several times. I've shown it several times. You guys just haven't noticed that that's what it is. I'll go ahead and use it right here when I shadow, or I'm going to do it up close so you guys can see. When I shadow strike this target, you're going to see like a purple kind of explosion on the target right here. So there, that purple explosion right there, that is what the new ability is talking about. So let me go back here so we can see it again. Go back into stealth. I'm going to use Cheap Shot this time. And you can see the purple explosion there. That's exactly what the talent is referring to. So that is Shadow Nova. Let's go ahead and head down. We have Cat-like Reflexes, increases the dodge chance by 15% and makes you immune to falling damage. We have Flickering Shadows, activating Sprint, and then taking no damage for 3 seconds will activate Vanish without triggering its cooldown. That's actually really cool. I've never tried that before. Let's see if we can get that to work. There we go, right there. That is a really cool ability to have as a rogue. So, I'm not gonna lie, this is some of the best abilities out of any of the artifact weapons are actually coming out of the Fangs of the Devourer here. Most of these that I've gone through are just base damage and so forth. This is actually interesting and actually gives you some interesting options here. It's gonna make rogues really want to build up their fangs as quickly as possible. So, we have Flickering Shadows, we have Precision Strike, increases the damage dealt by Shadow Strike by 30%. We have Ghost Armor, increases the chance to dodge by 10%. We have Second Shuriken. Shuriken Storm has a chance per target hit to deal 5,600 additional physical damage to that target. We have Demon's Kiss, increases the damage dealt by Nightblade by 15%. And then we have Energetic Stabbing. Cheap Shot and Shadow Strike have a chance to refund 50% energy. They don't really give you how much of a chance, but you have a chance. And then your last epic ability here is after using Nightblade or Eviscerate, your next use of that finishing move is empowered by Fangs of the Devourer. So after using Nightblade or Eviscerate, your next use of that finishing move is empowered. So let's go ahead and attempt this here. Let's just pop out of stealth and use backstab. So we use this, and then we're going to use Eviscerate again, see what happens. Nothing too big there. I don't notice any change in spell visuals or anything right there, but it is an ability in game. So that is everything with your sub-rogues, your subtlety rogues in World of Warcraft Legion. Honestly, still playstyles somewhat the same, except for they're really pushing you into using your stealth abilities now and attacking from stealth. And you know, abilities like the ability to sprint away and get a free vanish is pretty awesome to have as a rogue. It's gonna make rogues really frustrating to track. So if you're really if you're a sub rogue and you've heard about demon hunters and how they have the ability to track in stealth, you have a lot more ways as a subtlety rogue to get back into stealth and to deal damage even when you're outside of stealth with the 3 charges of Shadow Dance and the ability for those charges to come back. So that's everything. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will be going into the PvE talents and PvP talents of a Shadow Rogue, I keep wanting to call it a Shadow Rogue because it has so many Shadow abilities now. Of a Subtlety Rogue in the next video. I'll be looking at PvE and PvP talents. Otherwise, that is everything. I'll see you guys later. Tearless out.